I have been studying the influence of these solar cycles over human consciousness since at least 2008. This video is meant to complement or add to the work of suspicious observers and by the man known as Cameron Day, who has in the past discussed spiritual warfare. Now, that is also something that I want to talk with you about. So, as we go through an increase in solar activity through the geomagnetic storms, as we see an increase in sunspots, which suspicious observers discusses, we also see an increase in spiritual attacks because that light, which gives us life, also gives life to those parasitic forms of life, the unseen realms, that are waging war on the human soul. Okay, hopefully I'm not losing you so far. Here's my next point. Cameron Day talks about sitting out in the sunlight to boost testosterone. He made a video a couple weeks ago. I believe he's out in Hawaii, and he talks about getting a little bit of sun a little at a time and then increasing it. You're actually going to have, and I want to see real studies. I would actually take part in a study if, in fact, I can find a scientist with an interest in it. But I feel intuitively and physiologically within my own DNA and cells that when we have an increase in geomagnetic storms, we experience spikes in testosterone. Okay, and there's reasons why I believe this. So we will have stronger bench presses. If we're unconscious, we may be, unfortunately, led into road rage situations. I've seen plenty of videos on Twitter. You have too, where there are grotesque acts of violence. And I will become aware that there will be more of these videos of fights shown on social media when there are geomagnetic storms, but humanity is so stupid right now, so dumbed down in the toilet that it doesn't even realize what's going on. You won't learn this from suspicious observers. He may put out some great content, but ultimately he, like other channels, and I've met some content creators from other channels that push the grand soaring minimum, fear-mongering doomsday worldview. They don't talk about the real effect of the sun and how to harness the effect of the sun. Back to Cameron Day and his business Boost Your Testosterone. So I've seen videos where there's a road rage situation where somebody puts his fist through the passenger side door, the glass. Unlike the situation with Karate Kid 2, where Miyagi steps out of the way, the guy hits the glass and his hands were bloody. I've seen videos where like a guy looks like Porky Pig, smashes his fist without brass knuckles, his fist through glass, and I look at the geomagnetic storms and it's in the red. And I know where no one knows in the comment section what gave him that extra edge. It was the geomagnetic storm. Now, what if we harness that power of the increased testosterone towards doing other things? And what does it really mean to have high T? What does it really mean to look at the benefits of high T? Is it really just a stronger libido? Is it really just having the ability to lift more? And so this is where people don't understand the effects of the sun. It isn't just the sunlight. It's when there's an increase in geomagnetic storms. Even if there isn't sunlight that day, we will still be impacted by the energy. In the last 24 hours, we saw a spike in geomagnetic activity. And what I do, knowing about the influence over testosterone and also spirituality, right? The auric field, and that ties into spiritual protection from these unseen forces known by certain names, including Archon, including demons, including Jinn, including Asuras, including Watchers, including others. So we can harness the power of the sun to boost our protective aura or field around our body. It isn't just grounding meditations and visualization and breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, breathing out, and that type of guided visualization. It's also getting out in the sun in conjunction with maybe certain meditations such as this, certain breathing exercises, for example, focusing on that chi ball, certain hand positions such as this, or this, which brings in that energy, activates our chi and our ki. The other influence, of course, over the solar cycles is increased libido. Somebody might not realize why they watched 5 hours of porno one day. I personally have consumed a great deal of that content, and personally, for spiritual reasons, do not anymore. And I'm using that energy that I have for more creative purposes. I also smoked cannabis full time for many, many years. I'm not knocking it. It should be legal at the federal level. Cannabis saves lives, but it's also not free. And it has some risks that come to men of God. So you can be just a random person, sleeping around, getting in fights, watching porno, drinking lots of alcohol. But if you're a man of God and you're exposing Satan's kingdom, and I don't subscribe to one religion, I will not anymore after seeing the judgment from so many religious people, from Muslims to Gnostics to New Agers to Christians to Hindus. You know, I'm just sick of it, just sick of it. And whatever drum that I'm beating to, being opposed to murder and those that support murder and those that support murder, when you're at the level that I am, you can't bed down with any of these mainstream religions or spiritual doctrines, because the vast majority of these people are not in line with the true light or the true Christ. They're worshiping thought forms and entities, also known as archons. Okay, homie, don't play that. And I hope that Cameron Day sees this video and he hears that I was moved by his 2012, 2013 presentations, but also came to disagree with his blog, Never Call Them Archons, and found that to be fearful, and that what we should fear is fear itself. We should be calling out exactly what is taking place by the names that they have been known by for thousands and thousands of years. But the point of what he's saying is we shouldn't make them out to be bigger than what they are. We should see them for what they are, but don't underestimate what's really going on here and act like it's something small when it's actually something great. Because there's a reason why he stopped discussing that topic. And he went into, let's just talk about the material plane, testosterone. And I'm here to say that high T levels, as I'm experiencing it, boosts my field, not just my muscles. And I'm more likely to call out those unseen forces. Whereas when I have low T, and it's a solar minimum, as opposed to the solar maximum period, which we're going into, peaking in 2024, 2025, right? We are, some of us genetically, stronger spiritually, physically, intellectually. And people like myself will write books. I've already written a book on the solar flares. That's why I went on Coast to Coast AM in 2019. But in there a solar minimum period in which there's the least amount of sunspots, so think 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020, then it started to ramp up. Low T, low testosterone, less geomagnetic influence. And these geomagnetic storms, they influence and alter both brainwave states, circadian rhythms, and hormones. I interviewed Bob Felix, who is a proponent of the new ice age, coming ice age theory, which at present I do not subscribe to. And I remember interviewing him and asking him what he knew about the effects of the sun over human consciousness, and he said nothing. There is no influence. And there's a lot of people that think of they're brilliant researchers that don't know jack squat. Now you look at MSN.com and it talks about the geomagnetic storms and it talks about them influencing human health. And yet I've been talking about this for years and was treated like I had two heads on. And now that they're admitting this, and you type up solar flare influence, who are you going to find? Sadhguru, the Indian guru on YouTube. David Wilcock, who promotes avian aliens. So if you're going to go down the rabbit hole on the internet of researching these topics, AI in many, many cases, and this is another topic for another time. So subscribe now, all of you. Subscribe now, leave comments, reach out via email, and in the future, donate to my work. Because I am so heavily shadow banned by my main platforms that I've created this new platform because I have so much energy and prana running through me that I'm creating way more podcasts and much more content than my audience is able to listen to and engage with. I'm going to keep creating content on multiple platforms, on multiple websites, on multiple YouTube channels in hopes of getting through to some of you, right? So in conclusion, we are heading towards the peak aspect of this solar cycle. It's called Solar Cycle 25, right? Google it, learn about it, and ask me questions if you have questions. But ultimately, this should be your goal, to be able to use this solar power and energy to not only boost your T levels and your physical health, but your spiritual health, and to create goals in your life that can help you catapult yourself out of the current situation that you're in.